JSO, but from other law enforcement agencies across the state, from the Navy, from volunteers. A lot of people have been putting in their time. This story has been somewhat complex. It originally started as, and here's Tom Hackman.
Very sorry for the short notice tonight. I said all the way through this Lonzie Barton investigation that when we had information, we'd step out. Tonight we're doing just that. I think it's relative to the case, announcing the arrest tonight of Lana Larimore, Lonzie Barton's mother. Tonight she's being charged with 2 counts, 1 count of child neglect and another count of giving false information to law enforcement investigating missing persons under the age of 16 years. The first time that law enforcement encountered Lana was at the Pinebrook Apartments on Powers Avenue, with just minutes after the initial call of the false auto theft was reported. When that occurred, a patrol officer who was searching the area was able to find another vehicle. That vehicle, one of the vehicle's occupants was Lana Larimore. When that officer approached her, gave information of what he was doing, he was looking for an orange car that had been stolen. That information came out. She made repeated denials to that officer that she knew who the occupant of the car was. When confronted with Ruben Ebron's name, she said she didn't know him, gave repeated false statements, and then later admitted to investigators that she had made these false statements. You know, this is the most critical time of what we were beginning to do. I said all along that the house of cards that Ruben was building with that lie was not helping the investigation, was leading us away from where we should have been looking. Lana Larimore was not assisting investigators either when she denied knowing the man who she left in care and custody and control of her children. Cover what the child neglect charges are. Child neglect charges are reference to what occurred on the 23rd, the day before the call went in. Earlier in that afternoon, Lana and Ruben were together in their apartment on Kings Road when it was pointed out to Lana that Lonzie had a bruise on the back of his head. That was some area behind the child's ear that Lana had not seen prior to that occasion. She confronted Ruben about it. They got into a heated argument, discussion about it. At the same time, we've learned that Lonzie had some yellow fluid coming from his ears. He was lethargic, was vomiting, and despite getting into an argument over a bruise and how it occurred without a real satisfactory explanation and all those other factors I just laid out, she left Lonzie and her 5-year-old in the care, custody, and control of someone who may have done something to her child and went to work at Wacko's. Another component of the child neglect charge that we're coming up with for Lana tonight is that she was aware that Ruben kept, sold, and used narcotics in a drawer of a dresser in a 1-bedroom apartment, in the 1 bedroom of this apartment, where she kept her 5-year-old daughter and her 21-month-old child. These drugs were left unsecured in a drawer, full access to anybody that wanted their toddlers toddled, and her allowing this to occur certainly speaks to child neglect. Another component of the child neglect charge is on repeated occasions. I've said before what Ruben did for a living. It wasn't up to standards. He was a drug dealer. That's how he made his money. He's made some admissions to that as well. Part of what would occur when Ruben would go to purchase drugs to sell was he would take Lana with him, and in the course of having Lana with him to go do these narcotics transactions, she found it in the best interest of Lonzie to have him in the car during these drug transactions. These factors that I've outlined tonight, although it doesn't lead us to the immediate recovery of Lonzie, I've said that if I found that Lana Larimore or really anybody else had something to do with this case, they'd better look out that we're putting a case together, and if they're involved in that and drug into this some way, that they're going to be held as equally responsible. I think the arrest tonight of Lana Larimore is evidence of that fact, and I would certainly want Ruben to be aware of the fact that I've said before, this case continues to get better. This is a portion and a part of that as it continues to get better. I can take
Chief
questions.
Acme, Scott Johnson, Channel 4. Do you have any suspicion she knows anything about Lonzie's disappearance? And just to clarify, these are not directly related to his disappearance. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I can say, Scott, that these aren't a direct correlation or direct relationship to his disappearance, but also part of these charges are the fact that Lana honestly is a liar, and I don't know how to wrap that into what we're looking at. I've said this case from the beginning has more questions than answers. Our goal has been to get answers from those who knew them, and when you stand in the way of the investigators trying to do that, that hampers us trying to find that child.
Do you suspect she knows something or more than she's telling about his disappearance?
I would hope not. I would hope that after all these opportunities that we've had and had interaction with Lana, that she at some point in time would do the right thing for her own flesh and blood, her own 21-month-old that she gave birth to, that she was the sole person to care and love that child. I hope that she wouldn't do that, but Scott, I don't know.
Why the timing of this? Did you just learn about these details now? I mean, these happened a while ago. It sounds like you guys have known about it for a while. Can you clarify that for me?
It's been in the works as we've gone on along to be aware that these facts have kind of led us to where she knew some things. And again, I've said all along, I want to share information. I don't want to share any information that's going to jeopardize the case. I think the transparency that this agency has really shown with this case and what we're doing has been certainly above board to go into kind of what the plan, if you will, I don't want to call them tactics, but how we arrived at this tonight, this late hour. I don't want to go.
Is there a concern that the bruising and the fluid he had anything to do with what happened maybe the next day? Maybe he was injured and was deceased as a result of that, or something that they're holding back?
And understand, this was on the 23rd. The Thursday was the 23rd, goes into Friday morning on the 24th when that 911 call was made. So this is in the hours immediately preceding him being Ruben, giving this false information about a car that was taken with the child that was in it. I don't know how it couldn't, but again, I don't have answers. I don't have the answers I'm looking for.
Do we know if those injuries were serious enough to possibly be fatal?
Without having evidence of that, it's hard. Like I said, we're working to build this case, truly to build a murder case against Ruben with this. I think this is part of just that.
Chief Attendant with Action News, did Ruben Ebron ever intend on picking Lana up at work that night?
It's hard to say.
Who did she ride with that night?
She caught a ride from another friend that she had worked with, another worker at Wacko's.
And when they were on their way home, that's when they were confronted by
Yes,
this officer?
as she was coming home from Wacko's after receiving information from Ruben to get a ride, that's where the officer who was doing the canvas, doing his job, just happens to come across. They were in a red car. He sees the red car. It's a red car, orange car. Sees him, confronts him, and that's where the lie started.
And what specifically did she lie about? Who Ruben was? She was given his name?
She was given the information about what the car they were looking for. No. Ruben, no. Several of these factors that this officer is trying to go through to gain information. She made these repeated denials of it, and then later admitted to us that, yeah, I lied about that.
Can you
At the apartment when she finally arrived there, she admitted that to you?
Yeah.
How long has she been, Matt Head First Coast News, how long has she been cooperative with you guys? I mean, is she still being cooperative?
I would say that she's cooperative, but I also have to outline her that she has very strong difficulties in telling the truth.
When was she taken into custody, and how did that happen?
She came to the police building tonight and has been speaking with investigators tonight. She is actually in our custody now and is working her way from the police building over to the
Has she invoked her right to remain silent?
As of now, she has, yes.
Was Lana Larimore drug tested that night?
No.
Was Ruben Ebron drug tested that night?
Did her lies at the time appear to be a cover-up for what happened to Lonzie, or did it just her pattern of lying? She just lies to police?
That's a good question. I'd like to know the answer to that. Again, I would want her to be, if it's my child that's missing, you're going to get nothing but the truth. And I think the majority of people that you may come in contact with are going to do everything in their power to do what they can to find their child. When encountered by the police beginning to investigate that, to lie, to stretch the truth, to do anything but cooperate fully, that's just counterproductive.
Chief,
What was
today
her-
you're calling her, you're saying that she has lied. Recently, she's been on several media outlets giving her story, telling, hoping that she finds her child, believing that her child is still alive. Tonight you're saying that she's a liar. What are your thoughts about, her going to the media saying one thing, and then tonight you're telling us that she's lied to you guys?
I from the beginning involving Lana Larimore, there's been a pattern of deception, of lies, whatever adjective you want to use to call it. It's just not telling the truth. And if she's not telling the truth and looking for her own 21-month-old, why? Why not?
What was her reaction when she found out that this was her son, this was her boyfriend? I mean, I know you said she was lying from the beginning, but when she actually arrived on the scene there and was honest with you, what was her true reaction?
Again, she wanted to get with Ruben to try to square away the story, if you will. Now, whether that's the truth or the lies, again, it's the boy who cried wolf. When you start, when are you telling the truth? What is the lie? What is the truth? And again, the sole purpose of these investigators at the scene is to find her child, not some other child. And we're not worried about finding the car because we had found the car. This is her child. And to do anything but fully cooperate 1,000%. I'll say it again. Why?
I'm sorry, I don't know. Has she ever spoken to Mr. Ebron since he was arrested?
Yes, she's had a couple phone conversations.
Have those been recorded? Do you know the
They
context?
have. Yes, they have.
Have
Has
they
she-
provided fruitful, useful information?
They provided information. Its fruitfulness is kind of in the eye of the beholder, if you will. It's just so hard to know truth from lies between both Lana and Ruben to know those what's what.
Chief, where do we go from here? Or where does the investigation go from here, knowing now that you have two people in custody, the biological mother and the boyfriend? Where do you guys go from here?
We are still full steam ahead on making a murder case, especially against Ruben Ebron. Now, I've said before, if Lana had something to do more than just this, it should be pretty obvious that we're not afraid to put her in jail. This, I know what you mentioned, that she had been on some media outlets and talking. This isn't retaliatory or any relation to that. This is certain things led us to this point today, to do it today. But it's not fruitful to have anything but the truth be out here. But our efforts, investigators' efforts doing this, are to continue to build that strong case. Honestly, the end result, I want Lonzie to be put back with his family. I want to find Lonzie's remains, because I honestly believe that that's what we're looking for.
Are you still getting tips? You still have leads?
We do. You put that kind of money out with this widely publicized case. Tips come in. Some of them are useful. Some of them aren't. We're still coming through those. But it's just the goal is for us to find that child, and by any means necessary.
Chief, you said the arrest is not a retaliation for the comments that she's made, but do you hope this arrest garners more information from Lana or Ruben about what happened that night?
I will take the truth from either of them at any given time, that either one of them or their counsels or whoever's having dealings with them that want to come forward that can lead us to recover that baby boy. I'm open for that call anytime, day or night.
And
Has
what
she been
evidence
booked into
did
the
you
jail?
need in order to bring these two counts tonight as opposed to earlier?
I've kind of outlined the facts that led us to the grounds for these charges. So that's what we do with getting these charges. And then this is what she's being charged with tonight, and she'll go through the normal arraignment process and all that. But as it relates tonight, she is on her way to the jail now.
I'm saying, is she still inside this building?
She's still, she may very well be. I'm not sure where they are, because I was preparing to come speak to the public, and I'm not sure where she is.
And to clarify, how did you find out about Lonzie's injuries? Who told you about those injuries?
I don't want to outline that if I can. These are people known to both Ruben and Lana.
It was a third party?
Within their circle. Yeah. Third party.
How would you describe their relationship, Ebron and Lana? I mean, you said they were going on drug deals together. I mean, is it just simple as boyfriend, girlfriend, or is there more to it than that?
I noticed through some of the information that came out over the weekend that she has Ruben's name tattooed on her side. I'd say that's pretty close. If you're going to tattoo somebody's name, I don't have anybody's name tattooed on me. She's got his name tattooed on her side. I'd say it's pretty.
To back up, I don't know if you
close.
can you say if it was the roommate who gave you that information?
I can say no, it wasn't.
Has she at all helped in the search for Lonzie?
their roommate is a male, and yes, he has.
I'm sorry, Lana, is there back?
Lana's helped. Like I said, I've said all along, when we call Lana, she's been reactive. She comes down, she helps us go through evidence, she'll help look through what we have. But again, this has all been tinged from the beginning with, is this just another lie? And I'm frankly tired of the lies.
What was her initial reaction when you guys said we're charging you and you're going to jail tonight?
None too happy.
What do you mean none too happy? Does she disagree with it? Does she feel she's innocent based on your reading of her demeanor?
Hard to say. You know, she was cooperative. Actually, came down here on her own volition tonight, not aware that she was going to be arrested. That there was an arrest warrant.
You guys had called her to come down to
Again,
speak about the case?
she's cooperative to this point, and whether what she believes and what she doesn't believe, Scott, I'm not going to try to put myself in her head. Frankly, I wouldn't want to be there.
Chief, do you believe that the incident on the 23rd had anything to do with what happened on the 24th?
It's direct relationship in time to all those things that happened. I have no crystal ball. I can't tell. But again, it's relationship time-wise. You can't help to think it may be somehow tied to.
Are you looking at anyone else possibly arresting, or is it really these two who are your prime people who have lied in all this?
I'd say these are the two prime, but I'm not going to limit myself or limit the scope of what these detectives who are working really day and night to try to put this together. That if somebody else comes to mind that's in our way, that's not helping us do what we need to do, then they better watch out too.
Anything else?
Thank you all very much. Sorry for the late hour.
Alrighty, we just heard from Chief Tom Hackney, who is the Chief of Investigations with JSO.